We're going to do the NBA. You may agree with me, may not. A lot of people went into the NBA draft, John, saying, you know what, it's going to be kind of boring. It's going to be a lot of foreign players. You and I talked about that last week. A lot of foreign players, like France and different places around the world. Is there going to be any real trades going on? Well, there was one big trade, and that actually was my Minnesota Timberwolves right here in Minnesota. They actually moved all the way up to number 8, John, to grab a kid named Rob Dillingham from Kentucky. He's an 18, 19-year-old kid who played 1 year at Kentucky, and now he's going to be with the Timberwolves. He can shoot it. He's very slight. That's the only issue I think you'd have. But he's going to be tutored by a guy who's 36 years old who's going to be able to help him through this whole thing. And I think that's going to be great for him. And then later on, all we did was get a kid from Illinois who, by the way, one of the very best basketball players in the Big Ten. A lot of people had a lot of good things to say about Terrence Shannon is his name, John, a 6'6" guard, shoots the lights out, unbelievable on an Illinois team that finally put Illinois back on the map. I think that the Timberwolves actually came through on the NBA. Think about this. Without those two players, they went to the Western Finals, lost to Dallas. Dallas ended up getting beat by Boston. Well, it's nice to see that they decided, hey, we're going to have Dillingham here in place of a guy who's 36 years old. We're going to get a shooting guard because we need to be able to get more balls into the bucket because we are great on defense, but not so great on offense always. Ant can't do it all himself. This kid, I think, is going to be a great asset for the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you're looking for a team that really got better, I would say the Timberwolves is one of them.
Oh, yeah, they are. And I'm surprised they didn't take Bronny, Pete, because that kid slipped. Didn't he slip into the second round even or something like that?
All 6'2" and 3.3 points per game and all that. I mean, he's a superstar, right? I mean, you know what?
Oh, my God. It's in many ways, Pete, similar to the presidential debate. And I won't belabor it, but I'll just say the kid couldn't start at USC. Not that USC's a pushover. Not that also that they're a world beater. But he couldn't start at USC. He played sparingly. And now his dad's going to put him in front of the NBA, which are some of the best athletes on this planet. Mm-hmm. Is that really somebody who loves his kid? Or is that somebody who's almost doing it to embarrass him? Again, if you're not all there mentally, do you really want to put a guy on stage with Donald Trump, who's like one of the best off-the-cuff guys you'll ever see? Or if you're LeBron, do you want your son to be out there against all these monsters, against Ant, against Kyrie, against Doncic, against all of these guys? Do you really want that? I mean, what did Bronny do to you, LeBron?
It's a weird thing, and it was a strange part of the draft for sure that he did slip into the second. And of course, the Lakers, the rumors were out there. They're going to take him. It is what it is. And the only reason they did is they want to keep LeBron around for a little while longer. So it'll be interesting. How about Caitlin Clark, John? Now, she gets talked about a lot, both negative and positive. More positive probably than negative, I would say. But the Indiana Fever were the number 1 pick in the draft, right? They go out and they get Caitlin Clark. And here's some of the numbers, John. She's number 16 in scoring, not bad. Number 3 in assists, pretty damn good. Number 9 in free throw percentage, 88%, by the way. And number 19 in three-point percentage shooting. I think she's put her mark on who they are because this is a team that last year was one of the very worst, not the very worst, but one of the very worst in the entire WNBA. And now they just took out Phoenix last night, John, in front of 17,000 people. Now, think about that for a minute. There's a lot of NBA teams that can't sell out their stadiums that seat 15, 18,000 people, right? And meanwhile, these guys, wherever she goes, they are pretty much selling it out. And if they can get it on TV, they're going to put it on TV. But what she has done for women's basketball is absolutely unbelievable. And it's a credit to her. I mean, you can hate her all you want. You're probably hating her for all the wrong reasons, though, because she's just out there playing. And I do enjoy the fact that you see some of the superstars coming over, giving her a hug before the game, talking to her before the games and stuff like that. And I think that's the classy way to handle this because she is damn special. And when you talk about what rookies have done in the WNBA, that's an incredible list where she sits near the top, if not the top, in just about every category you can think of. But you know what? The fact that, John, that they're putting 17,000 people into stadiums and the ticket prices oftentimes are somewhere on average of $200, I would say that they're doing the right thing. Whatever they're doing, they should keep doing it because for the WNBA, how many times in our lifetime have you and I heard people even talk about the WNBA until now? Unreal.
Right. Well, to your point, Pete, Parker and those guys that do South Park.
Yeah.
They did the Book of Mormon, of course. Fabulous, funny Broadway show. They do South Park episodes damn near every week, and they have just lambasted the WNBA for years.
Yeah.
And now with Caitlin Clark packing arenas, with Caitlin Clark being out there with other great players,
yep.
But the other great players weren't getting the attention. All we were hearing about was Brittany Griner, had to go over and play in Russia because she couldn't get enough recognition and make enough money here to make it worth her while and all that kind of stuff. And of course, there were those issues about what, Russia holding her on some cannabis charges or something like that. But that was the only time you heard about the WNBA mainstream. Now it's mainstream sports, Pete. So more power to her.
Yep. And it's every night. It's ESPN every night. It's the local, broadcasters every night. And, if you're playing, even if you don't like her, you've got to respect what she's been able to bring to the game for women's basketball and maybe even women's sports. And I'm not some huge advocate out there saying, that this is the greatest thing ever, but it's pretty damn close because it was irrelevant. Nobody cared. And now people actually care. People are driving just like they did for NBA games to be able to watch teams play and specifically watch her play. So it's amazing to watch, and it's incredible what she's been able to do. And she's lived up to the hype. She has absolutely lived up to the hype. So kudos to her and the WNBA for what they've been able to do.
Yep. I am certainly not a hater, Pete, of the league or of Caitlin Clark or any of the other star players. Yep. I'm happy that they're getting the recognition that they deserve, and hopefully they continue to attract crowds like this. Hopefully it's not a one and done situation. But again, time will tell, and sports fans can be fickle.